Hey everyone, welcome back. Now, happy St. Patrick's Day for those who celebrate the holiday. Now, myself don't celebrate every now and then, but not super crazy about it. But figured for this festive season, do a little bit, showcase some green items, primarily some model kits here soon. But first, figured grab a couple diecast vehicles I've got laying around that fit the spirit. So, pretty much got here the Matchbox 70 Ford Ranchero, which was quite surprised to see when these were coming out, as you usually see the El Camino more often than not than anything to do with the Ranchero. So did pick this one up, and along to do have this Hot Wheels Premium from the either late 90s or early 2000s of a Ford COE truck. Now, this one here is part of a premium box set and came with a couple other cars, but this one here has the adjustable ramp deck and sliding bed, so you can pretty much take your vehicle, load it right on up, slide it up as you would. Only thing is, though, with a smooth surface, it can't really secure anything nicely on it, but just to use as a display piece, it works fine enough. And then got here the a 1988 Ford Mustang GT, which is a New Ray product, probably from the late 80s, early 90s. Had this one sitting around for a while. Kind of neat having Mustang convertible, especially the Fox body era, getting into the later years of the generation. Then this one here, a Kins Fun, probably a 1/43rd scale, probably a little bit bigger, given that it's a more cartoony, proportionate vehicle. Got this one here from a friend from somewhere quite a few years ago. I forget where it was. But I'm guessing this from a gas station or something as a souvenir. And this is of a '55 Ford Thunderbird, which quite nice, as I do quite have a fondness for 55 through 57 Thunderbirds, as they're quite neat little sports car. Unfortunately, though, it went to a more luxury car into the later years of its production, going from the 60s all the way through the 90s and 2000s, but that's pretty much how it goes. And then finally here got a Greenlight Kings of Crunch 78 Ford F-250 monster truck. This one here, the Texas Armadillo. I forget what series this was from, but I know this was from quite a while ago. Now, pretty much I do have a bunch more of these Greenlight Kings of Crunch monster trucks, as primarily the Greenlight being one of the few companies that actually produces in mass assortments of 73 through 79 Ford trucks, which is quite nice. There's one here, and also too do have a family relative who does have a truck very similar to this in real life, even though it's a green with a light green two-tone, but still quite a neat piece to have. So that's a little bit of a quick show of some of my diecast stuff, and I'll get started to some of the green models I've got. So starting off to begin with is kind of a multicolored car, the AMT Snap-Type Plymouth Prowler. Now this one I built quite a few years ago now as a Christmas special, building it up as Santa's hot rod. Pretty much going with a gold, red, and green tritone color scheme. Didn't really did a little. Then of course did a little bit of weathering with the snow effects to show that the car's used to race around the North Pole and such. Neat little car. I've also found a few of the proper full kits of both the AMT and Revell version, both of which do come with the little utility trailer that matches the rear end of the car. So might have contemplated getting that car at one point, but nothing really has happened since. But yeah, pretty much just have this one. Nothing too crazy to elaborate on. And going on to a more modern car, actually. Probably yes. Yeah. Just set them to the side. This is the truck that I built a replica of the truck that Relative has, which is a '79 Ford F-250. Now, of course, this here being the AMT Firestone truck. This here is more of a. The kit itself is an F-350 Super Camper Special. Now, this one here I've had built since about late 2018, early 2019, so I've had this built up for quite a few years now. Of course, this quite a basic, simple kit, and I know, like, given the age of this kit, pretty much coming out since 73 or 74, under the original AMT name. So, it's a pretty basic kit with not a huge amount to it, but with enough patience and creativity, you can pretty much make something work wonders with it. Now, of course, the truck itself, this kit here comes with your standard. The kit claims to be a 460, but I'm believing it to be more along the lines of a 390, but not entirely sure. So, yeah, pretty much have that. But the real truck has a built-up Cleveland engine, so not quite the same here. But haven't really found much for resin parts for that kind of engine. Did detail up quite a bit of the interior, even though on camera it's not exactly the easiest to show. Like, do have the matching green interior and what is actually a floor mat, which pretty much goes all the way from the driver's side all the way to the passenger. And of course, got the real truck. Of course, is a manual truck, so installed a shifter into it, as this kit was meant as an automatic truck. So yeah, that's pretty much this one. Put this one to the edge. Then going on to another truck. This was one I've been playing around with a little bit, as I've built two other similar to this. This is the Mobius 69 Ford F100 short bed, or perhaps the short wheelbase version. Now, this one here has I believe this is the 300 inline six, which is pretty robust engine to have for a truck, considering how the engine's pretty much was used pretty much forever. Okay, a little bit of some parts falling off. Could probably get those dealt with afterwards. Yeah, this is pretty much a straightforward kit. Now, of course, there's I believe at least 8 or 10 different variations of this similar kit, as you go from the 67, which has the regular long wheelbase F100. Then you have the F100 service truck that came out a year or two ago, and then most recently the flatbed race car hauler. Then you have so that's 3 already. You have the 68 F250, 69 in long wheelbase and short wheelbase form, the 1970 F100 4x4 and F100 short wheelbase. Then, of course, you got your 71, 72 trucks with their configurations. So, pretty easy, pretty simple kits. Went with a white and green two-tone interior scheme with without crazy modifications to it. Do have a little bit of a load in the back, representing it being a work truck, or pretty much like a shop truck, just doing casual errands around town. Like, got an extra set of rims, wheel and tire, exhaust, and fuel can. And of course, did get had someone give me a couple of these 5-gallon jugs, and these ones being Valvoline labeled, which are quite nice. Neat little pieces to have in the display. So, pretty basic, straightforward kit, with, of course, plenty of possibility for customization and stuff. Now, getting on to more car-based, have this little tiny thing, which is a Revell Monogram 1/32 scale Camaro street machine, which bought this quite a while. Had this for quite a few months now. I believe I did a video on this, not entirely certain, but I think it was more that I think what it is, I built, or no, not built, I did a little bit of an elaboration video on a bunch of other 69 Camaro kits I had, or have and had, so built this one up out on the side, just for the sake of it, plus being a smaller kit. Neat little thing. Put this to the side. And then getting on back to big stuff, got this 1966 Mercury Comet Cyclone, which I forget if this was, trying to remember if this was the AMT or the Mobius version. But looking at, might be I'm thinking it's the AMT version. But yeah, it's got pretty much built it up as a gasser. Got your lifted front axle, rear spring setup. Now, I didn't think about it until later. Could have technically got some lift blocks, put those in the back so that it got proper clearance for the back wheels, so it's not rubbing up against the arches. But overall, turned out quite nicely. And then went ahead a little bit to detail the engine, as the distributor was already installed, just wasn't wired up, so figured wire all that up. Pretty much get yourself a fairly representable representable gasser dragster kind of vehicle. Of course, going a little bit of the out of the ordinary, going for the Mercury car instead of your typical Ford, or even just going straight up for a GM product instead. So it's that's quite a nice item to have now. And getting on to some bigger kits, or a little bit some larger kits now. Before we get to that, got the AMT 63 Corvette split window, which I built up as the Night Stalker, which the decals technically came from an MPC kit, as suggested from the back, but we might as well use it up. And the reason actually for using these decals is that I've got here the MPC 1/16 scale version, which of course is a much larger piece as compared to the 25th scale cars. Not quite have the room, but of course you see here they're a bit of a size difference, which of course between the two they used the similar decals. Now, the hood decals weren't exactly the same, as the 124 scale version didn't, or the 25th scale version didn't have the hood stickers, whereas this one did. So use those up and stuff. And then of course on the back have the similar, or have the same decals, just on the back. Of course, going on with it's kind of a blue, kind of like a sand teal blue, which also kind of plays off as a green, even though the camera may not show it quite exactly. So, yeah, much. Of course, built up 327 supercharged engines, which all look pretty good. Of course, these ones here, I believe, I did do a video series on these about 2 years. Yeah, it would be like 2 years ago now. So I've had these sitting around for quite some time. And then of course, the glue has becoming a little bit unsettled over the years, but I do have most of the parts. And of course, with this car here is a 2-in-1, or it could be more of a 3-in-1 kit, as build it stock or custom, or somewhere in between of a street custom and a stock race car. So pretty much have that all together and built up. Now I have also contemplated again the 67, the 1/8 scale kit, which is also which also builds up quite nicely by Monogram. Of course, a quite expensive kit to come by when it does come up for sale every now and then. So yeah, it's pretty much those ones. And then getting on to the last one is another one that I was quite pleased about, which is this here, the 1962 Pontiac Catalina Super Duty, which I built up as street machine version. Keep it on the Steely with hubcaps, but just have it where you have a car that looks like your basic daily cruiser, but having it where it's also a souped up performance car. And of course, this one here being another green on green car. Got the green under chassis, body, and interior, just like most of these other cars, aside from the Corvettes and the Prowler. Yeah, so this pretty much that turned out. Now this one here did turn out quite. There's a few areas where it's a little bit hazy in the paint, but overall, I was quite pleased how it turned out, as it does give off a good reflective finish. And did end up buying a couple more of these, as primarily it was that I was missing the windows of the kit originally, and bought another one to get a replacement set of windows, which did end up getting. So, and then of course I did manage to find the original windows I had for the car. So I do have a few extra parts now for this. So who knows? Go for it. So yeah, who knows? Might build another one here in the future, or yeah, we'll see what goes on. So that's yeah. Well, that's that, and that's pretty much a quick look at bunch of one a mixed scale from 1/32 all the way to 1/16 scaled green cars and trucks that I've built over the last couple years as a little bit of a St. Patrick's Day special. I did have contemplated doing a proper project for the month, but just haven't had the time to get stuff dealt with and all that. So so that's pretty much that. And of course, do have a couple more projects in the works, so hopefully I can get a bit more caught up on everything. Because I know those following will definitely want to see more content out here and there. So just want so pretty much want to get more stuff out. But yeah, That said, I think that'll be it for this video, and yeah, see you next time.